about high school. And contrary to what you might think, high school was not a terrible experience for me. It was more something to get through, and I got through it. Doing so required moving schools. My dad remarried, and we moved to a new neighborhood for me, but the same neighborhood for my step family. So I acquired a step family, and I acquired a new school in 11th grade. My stepbrother and I were the same grade in school, but our friend group didn't really overlap. We didn't have classes together, so our friend group didn't overlap. My stepsister is 6 months younger than I am, but she was a grade behind me in school. And our friend group actually overlapped quite a bit. So I made friends, all was good. She had friends, all was good. And one of the friends I made was unique to me. So school starts in 11th grade. I show up, and there's this cool girl sitting in my English class. Jet black hair, black eyeliner. I'm sitting next to her with the remnants of my mohawk and pink hair. We definitely liked each other. She was just everything that I was not. She lived alone with her mom, who left her completely alone. Aurora didn't believe in using the closet in her room, so her bed became her closet. So as a result, when I slept over at her house, we would sleep in the living room, which is where she slept every night. I thought this was so cool. There was a level of laissez-faire parenting that now as a parent of teenagers, I'm shocked that that even exists, but there it was. She and I shared a love of 80s angst-ridden alternative music. She drove a crappy black sedan where she had painted along the side The Cure in white paint. And then there was my hair. So I started 11th grade with this sort of mohawk kind of thing going on. It was pink. I thought I was edgy. And I needed a new hairstylist when I moved an hour away from my old home. So I started going to Charles, who was the hairstylist that my stepmom and stepsister both saw. And he was somewhat famous in South Florida. He had a bit of a following, and he did these hair shows. And he would, be at a convention hall or a hotel or something doing a hair show to cosmetology students. And he asked me to be a model. And he said, grow your hair out, and I'm going to do something really cool and different. So I said, why not? I had already been to a Circle Jerks concert, and I'd worn the mohawk fully up. I was ready for a change. So I did it. I let my hair grow out for a really long time. And I went to the hair show to be his model. And my stepsister Nancy and my friend Aurora came with me. I drove. This is important. It was not a crappy car, but it was a car that went over, it could go on the highway. So we drive to this hotel by the Miami airport, a convention sort of hotel. And Nancy and Aurora take their seats in the audience, and I'm ushered on stage. And I sit down, and Charles starts telling the audience what he's going to do. He's going to shave this side of my head. He's going to keep the rest of it long. It's going to be a high-low sort of thing. It was edgy in 1986. So he's walking around and he's cutting my hair and he shaves this whole side. And then he leans heavily on my shoulder. And then the next thing he's on the ground behind me. And it took about 10 seconds for the 400 people in the audience to realize that he'd had a heart attack. And I'm freaking out because I'm on stage and here's this man on the ground behind me. So I call my parents. By the way, Nancy and Aurora are useless at this point. They don't do anything. I call my parents, I find the payphone, I say, I can't drive home, I'm freaking out. And they say, well, Nancy can't drive, she's only 15. And we don't trust Aurora, so you have to drive. So my parents were brilliant. So I walk around with half a haircut for a week, until I finally get up the nerve to go see the old lady hairstylist down the block, and she's actually a lovely woman, and she did my hair for my wedding many years later. So Nancy and Aurora become very close friends after this, and all is fine, we go along swimmingly, until Aurora starts telling Nancy lies about me. So Nancy and I have lived together as sisters for about 8 months at this point. We don't know each other that well. she believes everything that Aurora tells her. None of it was true. Aurora tells her really awful things, and at sort of the height of this, Nancy and I aren't speaking, even though I'm driving her to school every day. But I also drive the boy down the block, which sort of mitigates the discomfort in the car. Aurora also tells some horrible lies to those girls that we shared as friends. So they turn on me as well. I make new friends. I find a new group. It's not the end of the world. But it takes an awfully long time for me and Nancy to heal our relationship and actually start speaking again. And we do, and now we're very, very close. And I was thinking about this, sort of the lies, and at first I was just angry. And then in the last few days, as I've been thinking about this story, I think that maybe it came from a place of jealousy and less from a place of hatefulness. I think that maybe what I thought was so cool about Aurora's life, with her absent mother and her completely absent father, and the ability and freedom to do whatever she wanted, was really not as great as what I had, which was this whole new family and this whole, sort of very comfortable life. So I guess looking back at the story all these years later, that's what I've come away with. And also, my parents were really, really smart. And I should have listened to them early on when they said, she is bad news, this is not a girl you want to be friends with. I have since listened to them almost all the time. Thank you.